afternoon. You're watching the English newscast on Future Television. I'm Lina Tamim, and these are today's headlines. Saudi Arabia's ambassador to Lebanon, Ali Awad Asiri, welcomes delegations offering their support for Riyadh and says the sides that are seeking to tarnish ties between Beirut and Riyadh do not represent all the Lebanese. Former Prime Minister Saad Hariri receives foreign ambassadors at the Center House. Discussions tackle the situation in Lebanon and the region. And the Syrian government says it will accept a halt to combat operations as the U.S. and Russia agree on a plan for the cessation of hostilities to begin this weekend. Saudi Arabia's ambassador to Lebanon, Ali Awad Asiri, has called on Lebanon to hold on to its Arabism as he welcomed several delegations in Beirut offering their support for Riyadh. Last week, Saudi Arabia suspended $4 billion in grants to the Lebanese military and police because of stances made by Lebanese officials which were not in harmony with the ties between both countries. Speaking at a news conference at the embassy, Asiri said, quote, "The spontaneous movement of delegations coming to the embassy shows the love Lebanese people have for us and their desire to preserve Saudi-Lebanese relations." He added that those trying to disrupt relations between the two countries do not represent all the Lebanese people, and everyone trying to worsen these ties is harming Lebanon. The Saudi ambassador called on Lebanon to return to its Arabness, saying the country has an Arab identity immersed in its location, culture, and history. Former Prime Minister Saad Hariri has received the French ambassador to Lebanon, Emmanuel Bon. The meeting was held at the Center House in the presence of his Chief of Staff, Nader Hariri. Discussions tackled bilateral relations between both countries and the situation in the region. Hariri also met with Chinese Ambassador Jiang Zhang and the Algerian Ambassador Ahmed Bouzayan, with whom he discussed the latest developments. Hariri then received General Prosecutor Judge Samir Hamoud and former Minister Mohammed Jawad Khalife. On another note, MP Bahia al-Hariri visited the Center House to sign the petition of solidarity with the Arab states. Lebanese forces leader Samir Jaja has criticized a cabinet statement issued regarding Lebanon's position on its relations with Saudi Arabia as merely poetic. Speaking at a news conference, Jaja reiterated his criticism of Hezbollah's military presence in Syria, saying it contradicted Lebanon's so-called dissociation policy. Foreign Minister Gibran Bassil told a press conference he would choose national unity over Arab consensus if he had to pick between the two, in reference to his refusal to endorse an Arab League summit statement in January, which classified Hezbollah as a terrorist group. In what appeared to be a response to Bassil, Jaja said the benefit of the Lebanese people should be taken into account when looking at Arab consensus and Lebanon's national unity. For his part, Maronite Patriarch Shadadahi has expressed his support for the cabinet statement, affirming his country's Arab identity as indisputable. He said Lebanon is known for its friendship with all countries and issues must be solved through political and diplomatic means whenever a dispute arises. The cabinet agreed on a statement appealing to Saudi Arabia after it suspended $4 billion in grants to the Lebanese military and police. Prime Minister Tamam Slam announced that he would head a ministerial delegation to visit Gulf countries to reassure them of Lebanon's commitment to its Arab identity and Arab consensus. Syria's government said it will accept a halt to combat operations after the U.S. and Russia agreed on a plan for the cessation of hostilities to begin this weekend. Several parties to the conflict, however, were skeptical that any peace deal would actually take effect. President Bashar al-Assad's government said it would coordinate with Russia to decide what other groups, along with ISIL, should be excluded from the plan. The government stressed the importance of sealing its borders, halting foreign support to armed groups, and preventing these organizations from strengthening their capabilities or changing their positions in order to avoid what may lead to wrecking this agreement, they said. And coming up next, Inspirational Women series conclude with Dr. Rola Farah. Stay tuned. Over to you, Yumna.
Thank you, Linda. We conclude our Inspirational Women series today with Dr. Rola Farah. She's our last guest for International Women's Day on March 8. Dr. Rola Farah is board certified by the American Boards of Pediatrics and Pediatric Hematology/Oncology and is a fellow of the American Academy of Pediatrics. She's an associate professor at the University of Belém as well as a founding faculty of the Lebanese American University. She's also the president and a founding member of the association Chance, also known as Children Against Cancer, a nonprofit organization that supports children with cancer and their families financially, emotionally, as well as psychologically. Since 2014, she has been a member of the Asia Regional Committee of the Children with Cancer International, and she is representing 88 countries in 5 continents in their battle against childhood cancer. That's the association and not you specifically, but you're part of it.
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
I'm very proud to be part of it.
Thank you for being here today.
Thanks for hosting me. I'm very impressed by your program, and it's very important to be here today. I hope I can inspire others.
It's very important because what you're doing is very inspirational. When we met and we talked about this before today, you said that, when you came back from the United States about 15, 16 years ago now,
yes,
you said, okay, I'm here, I'm going to be a doctor for children, but then there was a story that took place which changed things.
Yeah, I was very, when I did research for 3-4 years and I practiced in the US after my fellowship, I thought that's it, you can get it all. This is medicine, you can treat patients, you can cure everybody, you know that childhood cancer is curable, and my dream was to come back to Lebanon and cure my own people. But actually, I saw one child who touched me a lot. He was from Damour, it's a small village in the south of Lebanon. And he had a tumor in his chest, and he had chickenpox, which is an infection that can be fatal in children who have cancer. So I saw him with his father, and I gave instructions for admission and sent them back home. But a few hours later, when I was going back home and I went out to the parking lot of the hospital, I saw him crying, and his dad holding him, crying together in the parking lot, and I was, whoa, what's happening? Studying 15 years, going research, doing medical school is not enough. You need to do something else. He couldn't get admitted to any hospital. So I went to his house and we tried to help him, but we couldn't. And I promised myself that day that no child would die from cancer or any disease. He passed away.
He passed away.
And I said no child should die because of lack of financial means. It should not happen.
And that's when you started Chance.
And this is when we started doing activities for the children, doing drawings for them, making a children's calendar by their drawings, and selling the calendar so we can have funds to support them.
So as soon as the story happened, you formed the NGO named Chance, Children Against Cancer.
Exactly.
And then the calendar started. These calendars now, I got the 2016 edition, but this is like the 15th edition?
Yes,
14th?
it is.
Okay, and basically it comprises of children drawing themselves the drawing, and then you just, every month, you just feature another drawing. And then you would sell these calendars.
And have some funds. And
fundraise.
To support the children. This was one of our first fundraising projects, and it was a very good idea because it's like a child helping another child with the same disease through us, because it's a child's drawing, and the funds support the treatment of another child. So it was a very happy calendar. It was full of emotions. The drawings were so full of hope. And this is the message that we want to convey, a message of hope, a message that the sky is the limit, that anybody can help by just buying the calendar, coming to sit with the children, and this was the essence of Chance, is the donating time, volunteering. This was the spirit we wanted to promote.
It's basically was the goal of Chance. How many children have you been able to help since then?
Since then, we've helped about 400 children to reach a cure. We have covered about 8,000 hospital admissions, which is quite a bit of admissions in 5 different hospitals.
Do you find people are willing to donate when they know that it is for a cause like cancer in Lebanon?
Definitely. There are a lot of people who want to help, donate, but sometimes they don't know how or where or when, and they need to be channeled, somehow. And once they found out about what we do, it's mainly from the patients that they find out. The patients tell their stories, and they say, we were cured because Chance supported us. We were able to pay our bills because Chance helped us. We were able to cope with our disease because Chance was here for us. And this is what makes me happy and what makes us pursue the road, I would say.
And this is on top of you teaching teaching part-time and also practicing medicine.
Yes. Chance is something I do after my work because I'm a full-time physician in 3-4 hospitals. I'm a pediatrician, I'm a pediatric oncologist, and I teach at 2 universities, so I have students and residents. And
I have a few questions about cancer in children. How many children with cancer? What is the statistics in Lebanon?
In Lebanon, we have about 200 to 300 new cases per year. Worldwide,
curable?
Not all of them are curable. The earlier they come, the curable they are, the most curable they are. The stages of cancer can vary and the types of cancer can vary. Leukemia, for example, certain types, 90% cure rates. Other types of cancer, 75% cure rates. So it depends on the type, it depends on the stage, and it depends on the response to treatment of the child and his nutrition, how is he doing, whether he gets infections or not during therapy. So it's all related, but we at Chance want to give him basically the best chance for cure. This is our goal. So we work on awareness, so we want people to come early, be diagnosed early. So we work at awareness.
How does that work? If you have a child, you just go for your regular checkup, and then that's what you mean by trying to catch it early?
There are 8 warning signs of childhood cancer, which we promote in all our events. We always repeat them, put them in our brochure, tell them to doctors, tell them to parents, give information about the warning signs. What are the signs that should tell you that perhaps there is a cancer?
Okay.
Of course, cancer in children is more rare than in adults. Only 2% of cancers occur in children, luckily, but it's a lot more curable. That's why
no child should die from cancer.
No child should die from cancer because it's so curable now. And our challenge is bigger than treating adults, because we worry about their growth, we worry about their fertility, we worry about their brain development. So we are giving treatments for a child who has a great potential of becoming an active adult. And this year, I'm very proud to say that we created for the first time the first childhood cancer survivor group, which is a group of teenagers who have survived cancer. And I'm just so happy when I see
One of them went to medical school, you told
One
me.
of them,
One
and now
of the patients that you treated when he was younger.
He was my patient when he was 11 years old. He had the bone tumor, and now soon he's going to become a colleague. He's going to become a doctor, and I'm happy he did the shadowing program with me for a week, and he liked it, and I was very proud to inspire him to become also a doctor. And when he lived the disease, and he lived the pain in the hospital, and he lived the hopes and the pitfalls and the ups and downs. So he knew he can feel what a patient would feel, and I would definitely think he would be an extremely amazing doctor.
And that's what makes it all the more gratifying for you, right?
Yes,
to see these kinds of results.
To see these kinds of results, and to see these young people who are active in the society. One of them is a translator, another one is also doing engineering. These people who have survived cancer, who have fought for their life, and with us, we fight together for life, for becoming adults.
I'm going to ask you one last question, and in 30 seconds, can you tell me if you had one advice to give to women for International Women's Day, you as somebody who chose to come back from the US to Lebanon to make things work here and have succeeded, what would it be?
Okay, never give up, always go forward, be positive.
All right. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
That was Dr. Rula Farah talking about her association, Chance Children Against Cancer, for Inspirational Women. Back to you, Linda.
Thank you, Yumna. That was very inspiring indeed. This marks the end of our bulletin for today. Now for a recap of our top stories. Saudi Arabia's ambassador to Lebanon, Ali Awad Asiri, welcomes delegations offering their support for Riyadh and says the sides that are seeking to tarnish ties between Beirut and Riyadh do not represent all the Lebanese. Former Prime Minister Saad Hariri receives foreign ambassadors at the Center House. Discussions tackle the situation in Lebanon and the region. And the Syrian government says it will accept a halt to combat operations as the US and Russia agree on a plan for the cessation of hostilities to begin this weekend. Those are your top stories for today. Thank you all for tuning in.